Chosen one, I need you to stop for a moment and really hear what I am about to say. Because what happened recently, the thing you did, the move you made, the decision you carried through, even when it cost you something to carry, it was seen. Not just seen, but seen in a way that only matters when the person seeing you planned your life and knows how much it cost you to take that step. You're here for a reason, and it's not a mistake. The person who comes across this message at this time in their life is not here by accident. Some part of them knew that something had changed, which is why they are here. That there was a different vibe around them, that what was coming was different from what had come before. Not different in the way that thinking about something different is different, but different in the way that the seasons really change. That kind of difference that you can feel before you can prove it. That feeling is not just a wish. That feeling is a sign that your spiritual senses are working right and the things it sees are real. I want to tell you what I think happened because I think you might not fully understand how bad what you did was. And I think that part of the reason why we have had to wait so long is that we don't fully understand it. Not because God was holding back, but because being ready for what was promised meant that it would come true. And being ready meant taking a certain action. The action you took, the one that seemed small at the time and needed more courage than the situation showed, was the one that caused the shift. What do I mean by powerful? That's not what I mean. I didn't mean seen. I'm not talking about the kind of action that made the news in your area or got you instant praise from your friends and family. This is what I mean by powerful. Because of how bad things were for you, you did the thing that you should not have done. You held on even though your body was telling you to let go. You took a step forward even though the evidence told you to take a step back. At that moment, you chose to do what you were called to do. Even though it would have been easier to put it off, explain the delay and come back to it when things were better. That's what powerful means in the language of the gods. Not strong when there is no resistance. Being faithful in the face of it, heaven took notice. Following that action, I want to talk about what I think took place. Because sometimes a person makes a choice that changes the whole order of what happens next in their life. Not because the person or the action was perfect, but because the decision had enough weight, enough real faith, enough of the real thing and not just the performance of it to register at the level that changes futures. This message is about how your choice was registered and what happened next. Now the wait is over. That is exactly what I want to say again. Not as a way to cheer you up or make you feel better during a tough time, but as an honest assessment of what I think is true about where you are. Now the wait is over. Not really over in the sense that everything comes together right away into something that can be seen. There is no longer any need to wait because the situation that caused the wait has changed. The formation has reached the edge. The preparation did what it was meant to do. God, who was shaping you while you waited, saw what was formed and said, "That's enough. Get ready." The time spent waiting was useful. What you were building up during the season that felt like it was taking too long is now finished. Now, let me tell you what the end of the waiting really looks like from the inside, since most people have a picture of it that doesn't match the truth. And that difference makes them miss the arrival even when it's right in front of them. Most of the time the end of the waiting doesn't come with a sudden dramatic change that is easy to spot. That does happen sometimes, but most of the time the end of the waiting looks like a series of quiet gaps. A door that was stuck moves all of a sudden. A conversation that was stuck moves forward all of a sudden. Someone shows up with the exact piece of the puzzle you've been missing. Something that at first glance looked like a problem turns out to be a way in. When someone arrives, the pattern changes from close to open, from blocked to flowing, from the stillness that comes with waiting to the movement that comes with arriving. These things, notices of a door moving, a conversation shifting, or a situation changing its shape, may be signs that you are already in the early stages of what this message is about. Right now, the most important thing you can do is not try harder to make the arrival happen. Learn to see it coming as it happens and get ready to handle the full force of what's coming. In the comments, type the number 777 if you recognized yourself in what I just said. If that was you and the recent move you made that cost you something and required courage that doesn't feel like courage on the inside, know that you are present and receiving right now. Right now, I want to talk about why your move was so powerful. I think it has more meaning than you can see from where you are standing. And I think that knowing that meaning will help you know what is coming and how to properly prepare for it. First, let me talk about it. The move did not happen by itself. It was the culmination of a series of smaller choices that had all been meant to make you ready to make that one move at that one moment. Every day that you kept going even though it was hard. Every time you called back when you could see that the call was not being validated by results. All the times you picked loyalty over performance, presence over productivity, or the real thing over how it looks. You were building something. They were making the version of you that could do the move that caused the shift. Everything that came before the move made it strong. Not in spite of how hard the season is, but because of it, the resistance did not get in the way of your preparation. It was the tool of it. And what you built inside through the resistance is exactly what you need for the next assignment. I want to name something that I believe is important for someone who has been waiting for a long time. Before the waiting is over, there is a certain temptation that comes up. It is subtle enough that most people don't notice it until it has already cost them something. It's tempting to downplay what you went through to say it wasn't that hard. When you think back on the time you went through it, some people have it worse than me. It's not my job to need approval for doing what I was supposed to do. There are several reasons for this minimization. Some of them are truly humble and some are protective. It does, however, mean that the person entering their arrival season is less aware than they should be of what was built into them. Not as much of an understanding of how important the readiness they have built is. Less faith in the specific skills that were developed through the specific hardships they faced. I'm not telling you to be cocky about it. Please tell me the truth about it. It was hard what you did. What you went through cost a lot. The things that were built through the sustaining are real. So you need to know that, not just intellectually agree with it, but really know it in order to fully enter the arrival that is starting now. For what's coming, you need someone who knows they were ready for it. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give and it will be given to you is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose. Join the conversation and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. In the stories of people who went from the waiting season to the arrival season, there is a pattern that keeps coming up. I think you need to hear this before we go any further because the pattern has something in it. In almost all of the stories, there was a moment right before the arrival when the person almost gave up, almost lost faith, almost decided that the thing they had been believing for was not going to happen in the form they had been holding on to. And in almost every case, the moment when things were almost stopped was followed by the moment when they arrived. The timing wasn't a mistake. The almost stopping was part of the process. It was the last step in the formation and the last test to see if the faith was real or just a show. The person who gets through that moment and doesn't give up even though they're tired is the person who arrives. This is not because the evidence got better, but because the decision to keep going was stronger inside them. The person who is here right now, who made the move I talked about earlier, who did the thing that took courage that doesn't feel like courage on the inside. That almost stopping moment is either right behind you or something you just got through and held on to. Before we go on, I want to hold something in front of you because I want to talk about it again later when it will make more sense. In the last few years, scientists have found something that helps explain how the mind fully takes in what God has planned for it. The spiritual work you've done to get ready is real and important. There is, however, a physical side to spiritual reception that not many people talk about. A part of the brain that controls how clearly you can receive and process the full arrival of what you've been waiting for. Neuroscientists led by a doctor in New York found something that is related to work that won the Nobel Prize in 1981. What they found also explains why some people, even those who have done the spiritual work, been faithful, and are ready, still feel the arrival less fully at times. The promise isn't broken because the person who is supposed to receive it is. After this message, I'll tell you what they found and what it means for you. But put this question on hold for now. Could it be that some of the time you've been waiting for hasn't been about what needed to happen in the outside world, but about what needed to happen inside you? This could be on a deeper level than spiritual discipline in the receiving part of your mind. Hold on to that. Perhaps you are already in the arrival season and don't fully understand what you are seeing. That's why I want to talk about the signs of it. There are signs that show the difference between the arrival season and the formation season, but they aren't always as big of a deal as we think they will be. Often they are quiet and sneaky, and if you aren't paying attention, it's easy to miss them. A change in the type of resistance is the first sign. It's hard to get through during the formation season. It comes from many places at the same time. You feel like everything is against you as you move towards something. During the arrival season, there is less resistance. It starts to come from the direction you are moving instead of coming from everywhere else. It focuses on it, helps you focus. In fact, this narrowing and focalization of the opposition is a sign of closeness. When something only fights back against you in one direction, it means that you have blocked all other ways of getting to it. You've reached the end of the path. The resistance is making one last push from the direction of your goal because they know where you are going. There is no reason to believe that you are moving away from what God promised if the resistance in your life has recently become more focused on one area rather than being spread out in different places. It means you are becoming more close to it than ever before. A stronger sense of purpose is the second sign. There isn't a big rush of inspiration, but rather a quieter, more certain sense of knowing what you are called to do that has grown stronger over the course of the season. The earlier version was true, but it needed confirmation from outside sources to stay strong. This new version doesn't need the outside verification in the same way that the old one did. It learns more about itself on its own. It stands on its own without any visible proof to back it up. That deepening is proof that the formation is finished. To reach a point where the identity that was being built through the difficulty no longer needs the difficulty to prove itself. This is what happens. It just knows what it knows. Once you know that it moves. The third sign is openings that you didn't expect to see. Not the chances you had planned. Not the ones that fit perfectly into the plan you made. You didn't pay attention to the ones that come from different directions. The link that came from someone you didn't expect. The chance through a channel you had already ruled out. The gift came from a source that had no reason to give anything. These openings that didn't seem likely are the signs of the arrival. They have the mark of something planned instead of something earned, something set up instead of pursued. It wasn't because you worked harder. It was because the season changed. Now I want to talk about what goes on inside the person who is waiting for the arrival. Because the arrival doesn't just change what's going on outside, it also changes something inside. Even more important than the change on the outside is the change inside. Even though most people are only interested in the outside one. It's possible to rest in a way that wasn't possible during the formation season, during the arrival season. Not rest in the sense of not doing anything. Rest in the sense of not trying to do anything. The striving that was a part of the formation season, the never-ending battle to hold on to faith even when there was evidence to the contrary, to believe even when there was no visible proof, and to keep the call alive even though there was a lot of opposition. At that time, that striving was necessary. It was the right way to stand for that time of year, but that's not the right way to stand for this one. When spring comes around, you need to change how you stand. A posture of receiving rather than pursuing, of letting go rather than straining, of reaching out rather than reaching out with an open hand. But for someone who has been in the formation season for a long time, moving from the reaching posture to the receiving posture is one of the hardest parts of the whole journey because the position of reaching became normal. It turned into the way you know how to be with what you're called to. In order to get out of it, you have to realize that the season has changed. That reaching isn't needed anymore. That what's needed right now is to stop trying to reach and start receiving. If you can feel that change in the quality of what you have access to right now, type "I see it" in the comments. Please let me know right now if you can sense that the quality of rest I talked about, that specific quality of striving becoming unnecessary. I want to talk about something that is unique to the move you made. The one I talked about at the start, because there is a part of it that I think is more important than you may think, and I want to be sure you understand what it is. Not only did the move you made fit with the call, it also fit with the time. It's important to understand this. There are times in life when the right call comes at the right time. Whenever the exact thing you were called to do and the exact time it's meant to happen at the same time. There aren't many times like this. And they don't last forever. They need a certain level of responsiveness. Being able to tell when the call and the time are right and move into that position before the window changes. When the call and the time were in sync and the window was open, you moved in the moment of convergence. You did what the alignment told you to do. And that's important for more than just moving forward on your journey. You proved to the divine, the spiritual, and the deepest parts of your own nature that you are trustworthy with the kind of guidance that comes together with call and timing. Indeed, that demonstration, that proof of responsiveness helped make it possible for the waiting to end. I want to help you understand how divine sequencing works by telling you about the link between what you did and what is going to happen. It was important what you gave when you moved. It took real faith to do it. It really cost a lot. There was real courage. And when people really give that much, they always get back what they give. Not because of a deal, because of how the person who planned your life and the person who is living it are connected. What you gave was important enough to cause a significant response. It's not because you finally did a good enough job that the waiting is over. Someone gave you something that was fully enough, honestly enough, at the right time to finish a circuit that had been building since the start of the formation season. So, you no longer have to wait. You didn't do anything to earn the right to skip the waiting. You were becoming the person that the arrival was meant for. And when you moved, you changed into that person completely. The arrival is not a reward for good work. You are ready because it's a response to being ready. Now I want to go back to what I said earlier about the receiving mechanism. I said that there is a physical side to spiritual reception that not many people talk about. I want to be more specific about this now because I think it has a direct link to what you are about to learn. Now that something new is coming into your life, you will need a level of divine guidance, divine favor, and divine provision that you haven't been using before. Not because those things weren't there before, but because the formation was getting stronger so it could hold them. As the arrival goes on, more and more people will be relying on your ability to receive the kind of help you need to get through. What's coming is bigger than the kind of help you needed during the formation season. In other words, the clarity of your receiving needs to match the size of the arrival. The Nobel Prize in 1981 went to a scientist named Dr. Roger Sperry for his work on how the brain works. He discovered that the brain is made so that the two halves work together in sync, not at the same time. When the synchronization is complete, something is made available that is not possible when it is desynchronized. The kind of knowing that comes all at once. The kind of guidance that comes in whole instead of in pieces that need a lot of work to put back together. This is the state of mind that allows the chosen one to handle the arrival of big things with the clarity that big things need. 98% of people are in this synchronized state when they are children. Most people have lost it by the time they are adults. This isn't because they are spiritually weak, but because of the stress of living in a world that wasn't made to support it. Because of this, most people who are starting their arrival season are doing so with a receiver that can't handle as much. Not for good, not forever, but lessened. Here's why this is important for you in particular. As you move into the arrival season, you will be asked to use your receiving skills more than you have in a long time. The direction you need, the ability to tell the difference between opportunities, the clarity to know when to act quickly and when to wait, and the ability to tell the difference between an aligned door and a fake aligned door. All of that needs a receiver who is working at full capacity, not at a lower level like they may have been during the formation season. A neurologist in New York who works in the same field of research as Dr. Sperry did something amazing for years. He turned more than an hour of clinical neural synchronization technology, the kind that is used in hospitals to get the whole brain working again, into an 8-minute audio sequence that he listens to every day, 8 minutes a day with headphones on with no technique or work. The sequence works without the person being aware of it, bringing the brain back to the synchronized state it was in as a child. The state in which it is possible to receive fully. I will tell you everything about what he made in the next part of this message. But hold on to this for now. In a spiritual sense, you are ready for their arrival. What I want to know is if the physical receiver is ready to hold what the spiritual preparation has made you ready for, because the visitor deserves the full extent of your ability to receive them. And it is easier to get that capacity back than you were told. I'd like to end the loop. I started at the beginning of this message. You remember that I told you that something had been found in research labs? I promised I would talk about the physical side of spiritual reception again because it's something that not many people talk about. The same reason is why I waited until now. Before giving a solution, it's always important to understand the problem. You now know what needs to be done during the arrival season. You now know why the receiving capacity is important. In that situation, the solution makes sense. Here are some things about yourself that you might not have known all of before reading this message. The move you made showed that you were ready. The time they had to wait wasn't punishment. It was building work. What you worked on during the season that felt like a wait is exactly what you need for the next assignment. And the specific quality of the person you have become through the hard times makes you ready for what the arrival brings. This is the person you've been stepping into. You're not the type of person who almost gave up but kept going and made it. People have chosen you, and your formation season did exactly what it's supposed to do. What person showed up fully prepared even if the preparation didn't feel like preparation at the time? Who made the move that finished the row? Who are you at the start of the arrival season whose roots are strong enough to hold what is coming? Because the arrival is not passive. I want to tell you the most important thing someone in your shoes needs to know about how to handle it well. You have to actively navigate it, not strive for it. Getting around there is different. When someone strives, they are trying to make something happen that hasn't happened yet. The way someone works with something that is already moving is called navigation. What's going on in your life right now is also important. The arrival has begun. The doors are starting to open. The sequence is moving. Right now, your goal shouldn't be to push harder, but to find your way around. Well, read the openings correctly. Tell the difference between ones that are aligned and ones that are tests. And move at the pace set by the sequence instead of the speed you set by your impatience. This is an important skill that can only be used by people with a certain level of mental clarity. The ability to tell the difference between a real aligned door and a fake one. Between the move that moves the sequence forward and the move that breaks it. Between the voice that is guiding and the voice that is offering a shortcut that will cost more in the long run than being patient. This level of clarity is made possible by the synchronized whole brain receiving state. An American woman told me what happened to her before she found the tool I'm about to talk about. She had tried every method her community suggested, including prayer, writing in a journal, and meditation. She kept coming back to the same thing. She believed what was said, but she couldn't feel what it meant. When she did it for 10 days, she said something became clear. A channel that had been closed off was opened up all of a sudden. It wasn't because she worked harder, but because the receiver was fixed. Something similar was said by a man from Texas. He was keeping things together for everyone else while his own life was getting thin. It began to feel like prayer was reaching for silence. Even though the frequency was correct, the receiver wasn't working as well as it could. After 2 weeks of practicing, he said that his mind was running on all the things it was supposed to be running on. The fog had been there for so long that he had stopped noticing it as fog. Now it was gone. That's because of what the team I'm about to talk about found. Neuroscientists in New York, led by Dr. Daniel Barron, did the following for years. They used clinical neural synchronization technology for more than an hour. This is the kind of whole brain activation protocol that is only used in certain medical settings. And after a lot of compression and tweaking, they turned it into a targeted 8-minute sound sequence that you should listen to every day with your eyes closed and headphones on. There you have it. The only physical requirement. It works without you being aware of it. There is no need for technique or mental work. While the person rests, the sequence brings back the synchronized state. The smart switch is what they call it. It's not a brainwave item. It's not an app for meditation based on Roger Sperry's Nobel Prize-winning research. This is a specific sequence of sounds that were designed to connect the two hemispheres and bring back the normal state of brain activity that kids had when they were young. That state where it is easy to figure out when the arrival season is the state in which the help you need arrives whole, not broken up. If someone is chosen, they will be able to tell when the aligned door opens. Not everyone can use the genius switch. It's for the chosen one who knows that God planned not only the promise but also the mind that needs to follow it. The spiritually ready person is ready to make sure that the physically ready person can handle all that the spiritually ready person has made possible. This is something that most people will get past. You're still here. That isn't a mistake. This is the kind of attentiveness that only someone who is about to enter their arrival season and is ready to receive it at full capacity has. His coworker said that this would be a great deal at $500. Neurofeedback in person costs $300 per session. It costs $7,000 for a home machine. Today, this page put the Genius Switch on sale for $49. An extra $10 off for a total of $39 plus a money-back guarantee that doesn't depend on anything. Listen 80 times. Every dollar is returned without any conditions if it doesn't do what it did for 18,000 people. There are 4 free bonuses. A guided visualization about money, love, health, and happiness from a well-known wellness creator. A grocery list of the 10 most common foods that make neural fog worse. A classic manifestation text from more than 100 years ago that most modern approaches to the subject are based on, as well as a printable habits guide for making the future you want. Every day that the synchronization stays off is another day that the arrival happens through a receiver that isn't working at the level it was meant to. You should give the arrival you've been waiting for the full version of your receiving. What was planned for you is already happening. The question is whether you come to each opening with a receiver that can fully understand it and know what to do with it. Goods with similar names will show up if you search for something that sounds like this. The group that Dr. Barron leads looked into them. Most of them did not have neural synchronization technology built in. How it works is what makes the difference. And his team's work is the only place where it works. The link in the description and the comment that was pinned goes to the only source that has been checked out. You can get to it through the link in the description and the pinned comment. If what was said speaks to you before making a choice, you can read everything on their page. It's easy to see every detail. The tool doesn't stand in for God. The tool doesn't make up for the loyalty that got you to the edge. You don't need any tools for what God is doing in and through you. When the receiver is fully charged, however, what God is doing gets more of what it was meant to land in. Now, the deeper meaning of this message keeps going. For the chosen one whose spirit agreed with what was said about the mind, the door in the description is still open. Small steps taken with a mind that is clear and in sync have changed whole seasons, even ones that look just like the one you were in. Now, I want to talk about something that the formation season kept from you about the chosen one that the arrival season shows you. Because by its very nature, the formation season is a time of preparation that is hidden from the outside world and doesn't produce results as quickly as you or the people watching you thought it would. Because the formation season is hidden, the person who is in it may start to question whether or not the formation is really happening. If the preparation is really preparation or just a delay, whether what they are becoming is real or just a story they are making up to stay alive. That's what I want to say about it. The formation was taking place. The getting ready was real. The move you made shows that the becoming happened because it needed a version of you that the formation created. A version with deep roots that can support the decision. Faith that is strong enough to act on it even if there is no visible proof. An identity that is stable enough to take the step without needing proof from outside sources. There was no such person as that at the start of the formation season. It was put together with it. And the move was the first time that what was built could be seen. The moment you arrive is not the start of who you are. It's the first time that everyone can see who you are. This is a good time to be in 3 different postures. The first is being known. Get better at naming the signature of the arranged when it shows up. You shouldn't think that something coming through an odd channel or at an odd time is just a coincidence. Take note of it. The recognition helps you stay in sync with the order. The second one is speed. The arrival happens at the right pace for the arrangement. Don't push yourself to make it go faster. Moving ahead of the sequence doesn't move things forward. It just throws them off. The third is real-time gratitude. Not for the end goal, but for each step along the way. Like being thankful for the door that opened today or the clarity that came this morning. When you are truly thankful for what you already have, you are ready to receive what is yet to come. Let me know in the comments if you are ready to let go of the striving posture. If you're ready to receive instead of reaching out. As long as you're ready to let the arrival happen at its own pace and not try to speed it up, the arrangement will work. I'm going to say something over your life before this message ends. Before I go, though, I want to say one more thing about the move you made. I believe you have not fully identified a part of it. You had to trust something you couldn't fully see in order to make the move. Which is why I want to tell you exactly what that means for you right now. There are 2 effects of every act of faith. You can see the first effect, the shift that takes place, the arrival that starts, the door that opens. The second effect is harder to see, but often more important. It's how it changes how you feel about who you are. When you stepped into something you couldn't see, it changed how you felt about your own abilities. Deep down, it showed that you are the kind of person who can act on faith alone, not just on what they can see. That proof doesn't matter for external validation because the arrival season will ask you for it again and again on bigger and bigger scales. And you'll remember this moment every time it asks you. The time when you moved even though you didn't have proof. The memory will also allow the next step that wasn't possible before. Allow me to say the things that need to be said over you right now. I'd like you to take a breath with me, chosen one. Not as a show, but as a real way to calm down. Making the choice to be here. And now instead of somewhere else, something you've been carrying around with you was never meant to be yours to keep. The weight of the proof, the duty to make the promise clear when it was taking a while to do so, and the stress of keeping the faith for everyone who was waiting to see if it would pay off. The duty to stand for something that wasn't quite here yet. That weight is what I want to talk about. Let it go. Give it up. It's not because the work is done, but because the time of year when you had to do it all by yourself is over. Things that were held in place by the weight of your ly no longer need that weight. It is now held up by the structure that the formation built by the people who are coming and by God who saw every move and never looked away. You no longer have to hold it by yourself in the same way. Put out the version of this story that said you were wrong because you had to wait. Put out the one that said if it were real, it would have come sooner. Stop comparing yourself to other people whose seasons were different from yours. You made a timeline in your head early in the formation season that didn't match up with how things actually turned out. Let go of all the ways you've been judging yourself based on that timeline. You should put out the smaller version of what you were waiting for. The one that got smaller over time as hope got weaker for the reason that what's coming is not the smaller version. It's the whole thing. It took a full formation season to carry that one. The one that required as much planning as you've done now. Even when the promise started to feel like wishful thinking, that was always the real promise. Let go of everything and let what comes in fill the space that the letting go makes. I'm going to say something over you. You are now the chosen one who did something. What did the person do that the resistance was meant to stop? That person crossed the line of real faith when everything around them said that line wasn't real. You were the one whose wait was worth it. Every silent week, every prayer that went unanswered, and every moment of holding on to faith without proof was not wasted. All of that money was put into building the foundation for what's to come. You are the one for whom the season is changing, not someday and not in a future you can't see yet. The wait is over right now. In this space, this message made in the stillness of stopping to receive what was always being sent. That person who says something doesn't change their mind or add to it based on how you feel or how readily apparent the change is now. The waiting is over now that the formation is done. The move was made and you're ready. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our COF community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Please press the like button on this message slowly. Not for me. Someone somewhere who is in the middle of their formation season and is tired and wondering if they will always have to wait needs to see that it is not true that the person who holds on makes the move and the move makes the arrival happen. Get this to them. And if you know someone in that season who is holding on with tired hands and a true heart, please share this with them. They are also the ones who say that the waiting is over. It told them that the move they had already made was strong enough to get a response from heaven. They need to know that the resource in the description and the comment that was pinned is there for people whose spirit confirmed the message about the receiver. That is for people who know that the arrival deserves a full receiver or 39 guarantee that you'll get 8 minutes a day. Everything you need to know is on their page. Join the Chosen One community and stay in touch. It's easier to get through the arrival season with other people who get it and are moving in the same direction. How can someone else see the holes when you can't? Yes, it's the same before the seal. There is fear in the back of the room and I want to talk to it. What if I receive this and step forward and it still doesn't come? Is that fear? That fear doesn't mean your faith is weak. It shows that the person has really been through something. The armor that formed around your hope was there to protect something important. I'm not telling you to take it down. You are being asked to make it a little less closed right now. It's not because there is no longer a risk, but because the season has changed. You were the one who moved. I'm not saying that to comfort you. I'm saying it because that's what I think it means based on what I know about how this works, about how things form and arrive, and about the nature of the threshold that the chosen one crosses when the seasons change. The thing that completes the circuit is marked by the move you made. Not a warm-up or a small move, but the one in response to that level of real faith. The faithful God is already setting things in motion. There is more to come than what you feel today. It takes time for the full arrival to take shape. What you're feeling today is the change in the atmosphere, which is the shift in the underlying condition. The state of something being locked and then coming loose. That feeling is not just a wish. It is spiritual perception that is working right at the most important level. The wait is over. The level of reality that lies beneath the visible confirmation comes next. Believe in the quality of how you felt when the message said the wait was over. Not the words themselves, but how they made you feel. That's the signal you were made to pick up. That is what the receiver does. There you have it. Confirmation. Let me make the last statement. As I speak over you, chosen one, I promise you that what was said at the start of your formation season will come true. That the God who made the call is also the one who answers it. That the exact thing you're waiting for isn't parked somewhere waiting for you to finally do something right. The thing is moving. It's coming at you with the force of everything the formation built up. It is my word that the move you made was seen and recorded. That heaven leaned forward when you chose faith over what you could see and said, there it is. That person is that's being ready. Now is the end of the wait. I promise that the arrival will be in line with the preparation. That the strength you've gained over the long season is just right for what's to come. That the roots went down enough. That the formation went deep enough, that you are the right person and are ready, being there at the right time for the right job. Now the wait is over. The coming has begun. Bring everything you have to it. Enter it as the person you were made to be. As the chosen one who made the move that finished the circuit. That's how it is. This is the most important thing to do during the arrival season. Good judgment. The ability to tell the difference between a real aligned door and a fake one. The move that moves the sequence forward is different from the move that breaks it. That ability to discern comes from having a receiver that is fully charged, whole, clear, and in sync. If you see yourself in the message about the receiver, the link is in the description and the comment that was pinned. The declaration and the seal will take up the rest of this moment. You're all set now. The wait is over. It came from God. That's how it is. Heat. Heat. Dunny. Hello. 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 You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry. When Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart. And as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now. Join the family and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.